What's going on, everybody? Today I am happy to introduce you to a new channel I'm starting, and it's about achieving your true potential. I've got a new product that I just came out with. It's called the True Potential Planner, and I really think it can help everybody to really transform their lives and turn their life around. So that's why I'm creating this channel. And for my first video, I wanted to go over kind of really my life story, basically, like what brought me to this point, how did I even get here. And I really hope the point of it is to see how it can relate to you, and maybe if you're in the same situation, you can see how this planner and the accompanying PDFs can help you to really turn your life around. So it was about 3 years ago now that I kind of hit a midlife crisis. It was a very young midlife crisis. I was about 26 at the time. And so what happened was basically I was expecting my life to go a certain way. You know, when we're kids, we all have really grand ideas of how our life is going to go. And that's what happened to me. I always thought that my life was destined for great things. And I was always really smart in school. I was, one of the kids who didn't really need to try, but would still get really good grades. And I always thought that I would be an entrepreneur when I graduated. I was going to go to college for business, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, but I was always working on projects, some sort of kind of side project, and I was hoping to one day, kind of hit it big with one of these and start my own business off of it. So what basically happened was I graduated from college with a degree in psychology, which I found out was pretty worthless. And basically what happened was I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I had a job during college, and after I graduated from college, I couldn't really get any other jobs because a psychology degree was not that helpful. So I continued to stay in the same job, and it was really just kind of a dead end, like a retail management type job. It's not like I hated the job or anything, and I'm really thankful for that job because I learned a ton while I was there. And I was very introverted, and I had terrible people skills, and working in customer service, while it was terrible for me at first, really helped me develop my personality and really helped me be more comfortable talking to people. And so I'm very thankful for the time that I spent there and what I learned, but I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, because that kind of stuff just did not come naturally to me whatsoever. It was very difficult for me, and still can be very difficult for me to do those sorts of things all the time. So I knew that wasn't what I wanted, and I didn't know what to do with my life because I couldn't do a lot with a psychology degree. I knew I didn't want to stay in that job. There wasn't really a lot of advancement opportunities. So I was kind of in a dead end. I didn't know what to do. So really my only option was to figure out how to make more money in the marketplace. And that was really what I was trying to figure out how to do. And so it kind of is a strange question, like how do you create value for other people? Because if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to create value in the marketplace. And so I was kind of trading off between whether I wanted to go into my own business for myself or whether I wanted to learn more skills so I could get a higher paying job. And so that was where I was kind of stuck, and I was torn between that. And it was really terrible, like turmoil in my life, and that's what I really felt. I just felt it's kind of nagging at you all the time that you don't want to stay in that job. You're stuck in a job that you don't like, but how do you get out? I think that's the problem a lot of people face, is that they're not happy where they are. They're not engaged with their work, but what other options do you have? And that's exactly where I was. I knew I didn't want to stay at that job. I knew I didn't want to stay in that career field, but where else do you go? I always had these grand plans for my life. I always thought that one of my side businesses was going to hit it big, and that I would become an entrepreneur. But here I was 4 years out of college and nothing had happened. I'm still stuck in the same dead-end job. I still had no any revenue from these side projects, nothing that had even been developed very far. I would constantly shift between project and project and never get very far in anything. So basically, here I am 4 years out of college, and I look around and my life is kind of stuck, and I don't know how to get out of the rut that I'm in. And so that's like what I said. I was trying to figure out how to either create more value in the marketplace to go into business for myself, or whether I should get a job. And so that's where I was. And then at one point I came across a program, like an online program, that was promising you to get out of this cycle, like how to become a consultant basically online. And I got that program, and it was super helpful for me. And the biggest thing that I got out of it was creating and crafting a vision for your life. And so that's what I did. I realized I had never really thought about what I wanted for my future. I had just always hoped that I would hit it big somehow. And what this means was I was just waiting around for something to happen to me. And that's not how I realized that's not how life works. Like, you don't just work hard and wait around for your vision to come true. It's like playing the lottery and just waiting to win. It's not going to happen. You have to go out and make it happen. That's the great thing about the game of life as opposed to the lottery. You can't influence your chances of winning the lottery. But in the game of life, you can influence that. And so that became my obsession, is to figure out how can you influence your own life so that you can achieve success. And that's, essentially personal development, self-development. That's what it's all about. How do you get what you want out of life? And once I had planned my vision, that became something I just could not stop thinking about it. And so that became my obsession. And once I planned my vision, I started working towards it. And that program was great for really helping you craft a very clear vision, but I didn't know how to get there. And so that was now where I was stuck now. I was super motivated, inspired to go out and start achieving that vision, but I realized, how am I going to get there? And I tried a couple other programs, and what would happen was I would work towards my vision, I would work really hard for a month or two, and then I wouldn't get anywhere close to achieving my vision. I would just give up. I would either fail at what I was trying to do, or I would just not see any results, and I would just give up. And so this process repeated itself 3 or 4 times. I would try a program, I would work towards achieving my vision, towards achieving my goals, and I couldn't get anywhere. So it was like I was really happy that I had crafted a vision for my life, but now I was getting depressed again because I couldn't figure out, how am I going to get there? And so I realized that there are really only 2 things that I needed to figure out. If you're not achieving success, it's number 1, because your mindset, and that's probably 80% of it. So none of the programs out there focus a lot on your mindset. You can talk about mindset, but what actually is your mindset? How do you develop your mindset? And so that's what I became obsessed with now, is how to develop your mindset, actually build your mindset. Like you can build your mindset just like you build your body. And that's what the True Potential Planner does. It builds your mindset and then gives you a daily plan for execution. And if you have a daily plan for execution that moves you closer to your vision, and you have the mindset necessary to achieve it, well, what's going to stop you from achieving your goals? You're not going to stop until you get them. Unless they're like literally impossible to achieve, you're not going to give up until you get them. And that's what creating a solid mindset does for you. And so so basically what happened when I was learning those things is I realized that no programs that I was learning about were going to help me to do this. And so I figured out I had to solve this problem on my own. And the problem being, I have a vision, I know exactly what I want to get out of my life, but now how do I get it? How do I get there? And so that became my focus. And what happened was 3 years of constant learning, constant refining, and constant testing. So what that means is I would be plugged in 24/7. I would always, I still am, always listening to audiobooks on self-development. How do you get to the next level? How do you improve yourself? How do you learn more about whatever you're trying to do so that you can increase your value to other people? And so that's what I was learning about. And anytime I learned something, I would test it. And how do you test something? You just apply it in your life and see if it works. So I would learn something, I would test it, and I would monitor my results. And if I was getting good results, I knew I was onto something. And so once I was onto something, then it stuck. I would keep it. And anything that didn't work, you just get rid of it. I got rid of probably 90 to 95% of the stuff. Is just, in the self-development world, it's so easy to say something, but how are you going to actually do that thing? And so I didn't want to keep anything that was not battle tested. And so I had like this bright idea. I was like, well, how can I know whether all this self-development stuff that I'm learning is just a whole bunch of hokum, is a whole bunch of BS, or whether it actually works? So I decided to set a big goal for myself, and my theory being that if I could accomplish this goal, then I would know what I have learned is not BS. It's real world stuff. Like, this will work in the real world. So I signed up for an Ironman triathlon, and if you don't know what that is, you basically swim 2.4 miles, you ride 112 miles on your bike, and then you run a marathon 26.2 miles. And at the time, I was about 45 pounds overweight, didn't exercise at all, and for some reason this just seemed to be a great idea to me to sign up for this and see whether or not I could do it. I also didn't even know how to swim. Like, if you put me in water, I wouldn't drown, but I could not swim freestyle to save my life. We had a test at Boy Scout camp when I was like 15, and I could barely pass like the swim test that you need to do just to like for them to let you swim in the water without a life jacket on. I could barely pass it. I felt so sick after because I was sucking in water and I was panting for air, and it was just a nightmare. And yeah, so I could not swim freestyle to save my life. But for some reason, I decided to do an Ironman triathlon, much to the surprise of all my friends and family. Everybody was like, why would you start with an Ironman triathlon when you don't even exercise literally at all? Like, why wouldn't you sign up for a 5K and then a 10K and then a 20K and, move your way up the ladder? And basically, I just wanted to go big or go home. That was my mindset at the time. I really wanted to be able to prove that what I was doing was working, because you can sign up for a marathon and you can train a couple months and you can complete it most of the time if you're in decent shape. That happens a lot. I had a couple teachers in high school that were pretty overweight, and they signed up and they were able to do a marathon. So it's like, that doesn't really seem enough to me. Like, I really want something like that will be battle tested. So that's why I decided to go straight into the Ironman triathlon. And so basically that was my test. I didn't like cardio exercise, so it's like, if I can do these things that I don't like and put in the hard work necessary to complete an Ironman triathlon, I will know that these principles work to get the work done, whether you like it or not. And there's always a discussion of, in your life, you try to find what you're passionate about. And obviously that's great. That's what you want to shoot for. But if you haven't found it yet, you still need to have a sense of discipline. And even if you do find your life's passion, like your life's work, you'll still need discipline. Like, I was just listening to, I forget his name now. A writer, not John Grisham. Dang, I forget it. But anyways, he gets up at 5 in the morning to write, and he's done this. This is how he started writing. He got up at 5 in the morning, not because he was a morning person or he liked getting up early, but because he knew that was the only time he could get his writing done. And he loved to write, but he just didn't like getting up that early. And so even if you find your passion, you still need to have discipline. And so I found out, after training and stuff, that competing in Ironman triathlons is not my passion. But now I feel confident because I know that now that I have found my passion, which is just self-development in general, that I know that I know that I can put in the hard work necessary to accomplish my goals, whether I want to or not. And so that's just something that's super important to be able to do. So don't worry too much if you want to set a big goal about whether it's your life's passion or not. Just think of it as training for when you do find your life's passion, and maybe that will turn out to be it. You don't know until you try. But anyways, this is a test that I wanted to use for my theories. And long story short was that I accomplished the Ironman triathlon. I completed it, and I lost 45 pounds in the process, learned how to swim barely, and I completed it. I almost gave up 100 times. You know, it was not easy, but I got it done. And so that was when I felt confident that these techniques are battle tested and proven. And during that time, not only did I do that, but I started this business, with the True Potential Planner and online trainings. And I also refinished my childhood house. There was a ton of stuff in it that I had to clear out, and we had to fix it up. It was a very old house. And so that took a lot of time. And this was all while working. We have working that same job that I was talking about. You can't just quit your job because I didn't have any money. I was flat broke. So I had to continue that job. So all this stuff was on the side. I did all this on the side while working. And so that's a really important thing, when you see all these people that are getting stuff done. I always ask myself, is this their full-time job? Like, is their job just to work out all day? And if it is, it's a lot easier, obviously, to do that than the people who have full-time jobs. So I wanted to make sure that I could do all this stuff while having a full-time job, because that's the average situation that most people are in. And so once I accomplished all that stuff, I have found out that the principles are tested and they're proven. And they're not just like academically tested, because I see a lot of academic tests and stuff. And I graduated in psychology, so I've seen a lot of these studies, and it's great to have a study, but a lot of times the studies are flawed. And I really just wanted to have something that was proven in my life that I could see 100% works, like myself, test it myself, and if it works, then it works. And I didn't want to hear anything about, oh, this is the best proven practice in psychology. And, I'm not trying to put down psychology or anything, because I literally majored in it, and I love psychology, but it's not a hard science as much as people want to think it is. It's not a hard science, so I wanted something that I could test in my life and make sure that it works for myself, and give myself hard evidence that, hey, this stuff works. It can work for other people. It can work for you. And so that's really what I wanted to prove with accomplishing all that stuff. And once I did it, then I felt comfortable putting it out into the world. And so that's why I'm creating this channel, is to basically share everything I've learned over this 3-year period, and to show you how to go from being stuck in your life and getting unstuck and living the life of your dreams. Because if I would have looked back 3 years ago, I would have never thought that I was capable of accomplishing these things. And at the time I wasn't. The self-development process is a process where you grow as you go. It's like Dr. Seuss. You grow as you go. I mean, it really is like that. When you set goals, you're not at that time capable of accomplishing the goal. You become the person who is capable of accomplishing that goal. You're not already that person because you haven't achieved the goal yet. You have to become that person. And so that's the process of self-development to me, is becoming the person capable of achieving that goal. And they kind of mesh together, where you achieve the goal and then you have become that person from the time you put in to achieve it, and then you are that person. And so, yeah, basically that's the story of how I got here. And I really look forward to sharing everything that I've learned with you guys, and I hope you guys will stay tuned. I'm going to be putting out a video every day. I'm actually doing a Kickstarter launch, so this is kind of promoting that. So I'm going to be doing a video every day it'll be about 2 months now, I guess. So stay tuned for that, and I will put out another video tomorrow, and we'll get into some specific training and really show you how to become more productive and efficient in your life. And that's all, guys. Stay tuned for tomorrow.